Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing
Basketball. Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Hey, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops 2025.
What a year, Coach. What a year.
I know. It's going to be a great
year. Or if
year
you're listening to this
out
of context or out of order.
Yeah, well,
right?
Then you know when it went initially published. It's going to be a great year for Coaching Youth Hoops. Telling you.
A lot of new stuff coming.
A lot of new stuff. Super excited. Coach and I are going to be meeting and having our semi-annual business meeting. We're going to change the world and help a million players.
That's right. Yeah, we don't want to lose sight of our mission.
But before we jump into our podcast today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Coach.
Coaches, go check out Game Changer. Truly is a game changer. gc.com/coaching youth hoops. You get full stats on every game. You'll also get a film breakdown. It is truly your assistant coach. Gives you everything you need to get a little insight on your team and how your team is performing. And then you can make adjustments with those practice plans at your next practice. Again, gc.com/coaching youth hoops. And speaking of coaching youth hoops, go check out our new tool. Go to coachingyouthhoops.com/drills. We wanted to create a resource for you to help you find drills, plays, etc. that you have some struggles in the game. You want quick, easy things to fix those a few items, and we created a tool that will help you solve those problems. So you'll answer a few questions. We'll give you our suggestions on things we've used in the past based on your answers. Pretty simple to use, coaches, but we would love your feedback on it. It is a new tool. We're going to be perfecting it over time. So the more data you provide, the better that tool will become. Again, go check that out at coachingyouthhoops.com/drills.
Let's do it. All right. What's today's topic, Coach?
Today, we're going to talk about adapting practices based on game performance. So I just looked at my Game Changer film. I need to make some adjustments. So there's quite a few adjustments you could potentially make. But let's think in terms of, the most important adjustments. You're coming off a close game. You had film session just a couple days ago, yesterday. and it's fresh in your mind. So
Yeah, so it is. Yeah, and I would not recommend to the youth coaches to do anything that I did as far
no, of
as
course not. Yeah,
as adjusting, because we had like an hour 20 film session after our loss. And anyway, don't do that.
don't do
Ever do that.
that.
I don't normally do that, but I was telling coach, a third of my team is out with the flu. So I mean, I was down to 10 guys and I had to
Yeah.
spread them out. And anyway, so that's the only reason I believe in really short film sessions. But so adapting practice is really important. Like adapting what you do is important. Um, and it takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of non-ego. I mean, coach knows I've won a lot of games, and I think I'm a horrible coach. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that I got to get better at, and I've been doing this for 35 years. I just do. I mean, I overplayed. We lost by 1 point on a last second shot with about 6 seconds to go, and I played that over 17 times of what I could have done, and not the kids, me. And now I did do one right thing. I did tell the official I wanted a timeout if they scored, and my kid threw the ball away to them. Grabbed it real quick, stepped out of bounds, and threw it in, and they got it, but the timeout was by the official. But anyway, so that's the only good. I will give myself that. I did do that. But I think what I have done and this was, a couple days later, I've gone and said, all right, we need to work on this. We're not screening in our offense. So, okay, I got to break down why aren't we screening? I know defensively, couple of my 2 or 3 of my players are having a hard time, which I refer to as guarding their yard. They're opening their stance too much. And I showed them on the film, like the difference between a squared stance and an open stance. And in our league, if you have an open stance, it's going to be 2 dribbles and you might get dunked on. So it's got to be a little bit more closed. So it's like some of these nuances that I have seen in film over the last game are things that I can now go to practice. And we did it. After the film session, we went down and we worked on some small-sided stuff. We worked on containing the dribble and guarding their yard. We worked on some, how do you set a screen up? What does a good screen look like? How do you fight off of that screen? When do you fake a screen and slip to the basket? Because that's a great read for some kids, or for in any offense. So I'm always evaluating that, and that's where Game Changer would come in really handy if you're a youth coach, as far as filming it and then watching it, because it's virtually, from someone that's done it a really long time, it's virtually impossible to do that. There's 10,000 things that happen in a basketball game, and you're going to see 6 of them. I mean, I didn't even know my guy threw the ball away until I watched it on the film. Because I knew I had the timeout. The official gave it to me. Nothing was blah, blah, blah. But I didn't even I saw, it's like, oh my God, I screamed that night when I was watching it in the house. My wife thought someone was
your wife came down. What's wrong?
So it was like, well, Jesus, and the kid that did it is like, I was teasing him the next day and his head went down. He was shaking his head. But it's like anything. It's like, I do this in my teaching. I teach the same class, first hour, third hour, and fourth hour. I have second hour off. Well, second hour is like, well, that didn't work first hour. I evaluate, I readjust. This has got to go here. That's got to go there. You said this wrong. You spent too much time on this. Now, as I'm getting older, sometimes I forget what I said in which class period, but that's just age. Did I tell you that story yet? But anyway,
only 10 times, coach.
10
only
times.
10 times, right?
But I think that's part of it, as far as being a good coach and being a good teacher, is evaluating those specific things, and it will make you better. It's the mental part of the game, which leads into our other sponsor, Coach, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, coaches, go check out coachingyouthhoops.com/health. This was a tool that I wanted, and I wanted to bring this to our listeners. It is basically, it's an assessment. We talk a lot about X's and O's on this podcast, but we don't, because it's something that maybe that we're not experienced with. It was the mental side, the nutritional side, right? The injury prevention side. So Curve is offering free assessments for our coaches. So go check it out at coachingyouthhoops.com/health to get an assessment of your team as far as where they stand on the nutritional side, their sleep habits, their mental, their state, the mental state. This will provide you some aggregate data so you can make adjustments, or so even just like Game Changer is providing data on the court, this is going to provide data with your individuals that you could then make adjustments as needed to to have a happier, well-rounded team and potentially gain that edge, sneak out a few more wins just because the kids are in the right state of mind and you're going to know exactly what to do. It's
Right.
free for coaches. The kids will also have access to trained professionals they can have conversations with over text, completely vetted, safe app for kids. They can't sign up without their parents. So go to, again, coachingyouthhoops.com/health for more information.
Okay, perfect. So what's your thought on it, Coach? I was rambling there, so I wanted to stop myself and throw in curve there because we love curve. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, prior to having Game Changer, it was always kind of just based on memory. Oh, we had to do a few things here and there. But now with Game Changer, I can go back and review the film and see exactly the couple things that we need to work on, and then make the needed adjustments to our small-sided games. Emphasize, oh yeah, we're not setting screens correctly, right? So, make sure I get the fundamentals of screening down, or hey, our passes are a little off. How can we work on our passing? Uh, so you don't want to do too much too quickly. You want to take a thing or two, but your practices now with the technology that's out there, you can change them and adapt them based on what you're seeing on film. Game Changer has really made it affordable, free, for coaches. And this is
Right.
really not a pitch, not necessarily just a pitch for Game Changers. This is just a pitch for using the tools that are available to you. As Coach said, Coach thinks he's a bad coach because he cares so much about the kids. And if you're listening to this, if you're a serious coach, so I know you also care about the performance and performance of your team and the individuals on that team.
No, I mean, the loss is just like, you and I
They
haven't
eat
talked
at
about
you. Yeah.
well, and the problem is I love this group. I love this group. I love these guys, and I just
Yeah.
want them to
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Anyway, that's the hard part is you just grow this, connection, and it's like you spend so much time together that it's like, and they're in my room. Again, because I have food in my room all the time. They're in my room all the time.
I bet. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. But
It's hard.
again, I think the lesson here is use technology,
Yes.
and then, but don't use it to where, the next day you
Nice.
have to teach 10 new drills because
Right.
you changed it, right? Take your drills that you have and adapt them to the needs of what you found in the film.
Yes.
We've talked about this throughout the podcast, which is, have a few drills for every category: offense, defense, transition to offense, transition to defense, then change the
Right.
constraints, then of those drills based on what the film is telling you. And that way you're going to have an efficient practice. You're not teaching the kids new drills, you're just emphasizing a different thing in that particular drill.
Right.
And that
No,
can
I agree.
change every single practice.
Every practice, all the time. Just we do the no dribble offense thing a lot just because we dribble too much. So I go the opposite way with that, just to kind of teach them some of those basic skills. But all right, anything else, Coach?
No, just go check out gc.com/coaching youth hoops. That's the first part to start your new dynamic practice.
It is.
Plans.
It will help. It will help.
It will
All right.
help.
Till next week, Coach.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Lowe's knows you take pride in every project. So take on what's next today with a free Select Craftsman hedge trimmer or leaf blower when you buy a 20-volt push mower. That's a $119 value on reliable, high-performance Craftsman tools you trust. For the power to do it all, build, repair, restore, maintain, go with Craftsman. Available at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 5/21. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.